Hey guys, welcome to my 12 days of Christmas ornaments. Hopefully I will get all 12 days in. Cross your fingers. Today we're going to be making this adorable ornament that looks hand knitted. Does it not? It's beautiful, I think. It's very simple. It's very easy to make, I assure you. So let's get right started. The supplies that you'll need. You're going to need about a 2.5 inch styrofoam ball. I got these at the Dollar Tree. You're going to need a wooden bead. Now I got this strand at Michael's. Someone said that the Dollar Tree also carries wood beads, but the only wooden beads I found in my Dollar Trees are painted. They're not like raw wood, so I ended up having to get mine at Michael's. No biggie. You're also going to need a little bit of twine for the hanger. You're going to need some yarn. And this is the one that I picked up from Michael's. This is the Lush Alpaca yarn, and you can see it's pretty thick and it is very soft. You're also going to need your scissors, your glue gun, and to make one of the steps easier, I'm going to use a clipboard. Okay, now.
Okay, so the first step is that you want to go ahead and cut a length of the twine. It's really your preference. This is going to be the hanger. So if you like a shorter hanger for your tree or wherever it is you're going to hang it, then that's what you want to cut. I just kind of eyeballed it. And here I'm showing you that you want to use a low temp glue gun because you're going to be handling the ornament a lot. Not to mention that the ornament itself is styrofoam, and a high temp glue gun will melt the styrofoam, so be sure you're using a low temp glue gun. Okay, so now we're taking our twine and our wood bead, and you're going to want to string that on to your twine. The first end usually goes in pretty easily, like that. And I tried to get the second end through because you do want to feed both ends through. But I needed a little help, and I'm getting ready to grab a little tool because it just wasn't going through. So I'm going to use a weeding tool that I have for my Cricut. Now, I do have an old Cricut that uses cartridges, but I still have the tools for it. So I'm using that to kind of smoosh it through without poking my finger. And I think I finally do get it. Yay, success! There you are. Now, you're going to pull until you get them even. So you want both sides of the string to be even and the loop like so. Okay? Now I'm showing you that's how you're going to fit it on top of your styrofoam ball. Alright, there you go. Now pull the bead up towards the loop, and then you're going to take your you're going to take your glue gun, and about an inch from the bottom of the two ends, you're going to place just a tiny little drop of glue, and then you're going to slide that bead down over top of that glue. Some of it will smush down, and that's okay. Okay, just like so. Alright, just kind of waiting for it to harden up a little bit, and then you take it, separate the ends of the twine. Make sure your glue is hardened and the bead is going to stay in place. Then you're going to put a little bit of the glue onto your styrofoam ball, like so. And then you're going to, with the ends separated, you're going to glue the bead onto the ball and hold it in place until your glue is dry. There we go. Voila! Yay! Now what I'm doing is I am gluing the little pieces on each side down. So the little extra pieces of twine on each side, I'm gluing those down. And see, it's a low temp glue gun, so I'm able to handle it without my little fingertips on. And making sure those are sturdy and dry, and yeah. So there you go. That's how it should look at this point. And right now, I believe what we're going to do is just set that aside. And we're going to move on to our yarn. So this is the next step. Okay, now in this part, what you're going to want is you're going to want to cut a 5-foot piece, about 5 foot, a piece of 5-foot yarn. And then you're going to cut 3 total. So cut one piece, I used a tape measure to cut one piece, and then the other 2 pieces, I just kind of measured them out with the first piece and tried to cut 2 that were the same length. So I'm just kind of showing you that right now. Okay, so I've got my 3 pieces of yarn that are about 5 feet long, depending on how much you stretch them. So there's the 3. We're going to set the yarn aside because we're done. Now, this is where the clipboard comes in. Here's a tip. Hot glue hardens a lot faster when you touch it to metal. So this is what I'm going to do. Do not knot the yarn. Don't bunch it together too much. You want it flat to fit up against the styrofoam ball. So I'm putting a little bit of hot glue on all 3 pieces, kind of close together, holding them closer together, letting them dry just a little bit. And yes, I'm getting little pieces of glue on my fingers, little strings, trying to turn it over. But I've got a string on my thumb that won't move. And then I'm going to press it against the metal on the clipboard. And wait for it to harden. And then we're just going to peel that off. And voila! There we go. Alright. Now, this is what makes this part easier. What I do is I take my clipboard and I just kind of clip right above the chunk of glue. And at this point, it just kind of holds all of your yarn in place. You're going to loosely braid your 3 strands of yarn. Every couple of moves that you make with the yarn, you're going to want to pull and untangle the strands. It's not very hard. It's a little bit time consuming, but you want to make sure those pieces of yarn do not get tangled up. And you can see, as long as like every 2 to 3 passes of the yarn, as long as you take your fingers and kind of untangle and make sure they're all free and clear of each other, you won't have a problem like I'm doing. So see, you don't want it too tight, but you don't want it too loose either. There we go. Braid, braid, braid. Now it's up to you. You can continue just braiding with it where it is, or you can, when you get to the bottom of the clipboard, you can unclip it and move it up. Totally up to you. Completely up to you. Or you don't even have to use a clipboard if you don't want to, guys. You really don't. You can just braid it. Okay, now I am done with the braid. They're a little bit uneven, but you just want to braid until the very end of the shortest piece. The yarn kind of stretches a little bit. That's why they end up a little bit uneven. So now at the very end, I'm going to just kind of pinch them together like we did at the top. Put another bead of hot glue on there. And then just to kind of make it quicker to harden, I am going to push that down onto the metal of the clipboard and hold it there until it hardens. La 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 la. It's not hardened yet. Okay, let's peel it off. There we go. It's hardened. Yay! So you got the tails on there. Just leave them. It doesn't matter. Just leave them on there until the very end, and then you can trim them. Now we're going to start wrapping the yarn around the ball. Right below where you started where you put the glue, the hot glue, you are going to start wrapping right there. So take your hot glue gun, put a dab of hot glue onto the styrofoam ball. And like I said, start right below where your hot glue was. And you can kind of see why you want it flat. The hot glue, that is. And hold that in place until it gets really hard. And then you're just going to start wrapping. Now keep the braid flat. Don't twist it. Now you can see you have a little bit of the spot where it's kind of sticking up. So take your scissors and just kind of trim that down so that it lies flat against the styrofoam. And that's what I'm doing here. Okay, then what I'm doing is I'm just taking a little bit of glue and running a path, a line of it, and then just wrapping. And then the ends that are kind of unsightly, I am going to run some glue over top of that, and I'm going to hide that with the braid. So that's going to go right on top of it, and we'll hold that down until it's no longer warm to touch. Okay? And that hides the edges, the ends, the top ends of your braid. Okay, there you go. Now you can see how it just kind of hides the tips. You can't even tell where they are. And from here, you're just going to continue to wrap your braid around the ball. You're going to lay a line of glue down and then just lay the braid flat against it and hold it in place. Don't twist the braid. Just make sure it stays flat against the ball. And try not to overlap the edges as you come around, because laying them with a tiny bit of space between the edges is what is going to give you that knitted look, that look of rose. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing now. And see, I'm just going to continue, and that's what I'm showing you. I'm just going to continue to wrap, just lay a line of glue, and lay your braid down. And just continue, 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 until you get to the bottom. And, yep, there we go. I'm finished. I'm going to continue. Yeah, you can see right there how I have not overlapped the rows. Don't overlap, don't overlap. I don't know why I was giving you the stiff finger, but there you go. Okay, now I've wrapped it all the way to the bottom. Now we're going to finish it off. I'm going to show you how to finish it off. Alright, let's finish it off. Okay, so we'll take the glue, and I'm going to give it a little line right here. And I'm going to take it and wrap right there, hold it down, and it has one little spot left, and you can just kind of turn it to cover that last little spot, and then hold it in place. Okay, there we go. And once that has secured itself and you feel comfortable with that, you can cut these tails off. Or hey, if you want to, you can just leave them. If you have a cat, maybe you can use it as a cat toy. Spray some catnip on it. I don't know. Alright, see, I still have a little bit of fuzz that I didn't get, that I don't like. So I'm going to clip that off. There we go. And voila. It's done, guys. It's complete. Now, if it's too plain for you, if you don't like the country knitted look, then you could double bead it. You could put some pine cones around the top. You could put some ribbon. You could put a big bow on it. Whatever you want to personalize this, guys, just do it. Just do you. You do you. I'm keeping mine plain because I like them that way. You could always do different colored yarn, and like I'm telling you here again, don't overlap the rows. Just keep them butted up against each other, and that will give you that beautiful knitted look without knitting, because I don't know how to knit, so I have to fake it. I'm a faker. Yep. I don't know why I'm giving you the strong hand again. Not a clue. Bye.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. We just got home from our Thanksgiving break. We had so much fun with our family. We laughed a lot. We ate a lot. And we're very tired. But real life calls, and we're back at it tomorrow. I wanted to get this video up tonight just for you guys. So don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to my channel, and when you do, hit that little bell so that you get all the notifications so that you don't miss out on the rest of my 12 Days of Christmas Ornaments that I have coming up. Keep being kind to each other and continue that circle of positivity. Good night.